Mysterious Mysteries. How I've missed that music. We're back!
Hooray!
Matthew, Series 2.
I've been tingling. I've had that buzz thrill of excitement.
Absolutely.
We're back!
And that's not just a bottle of gin talking.
No.
Well, yes, we are back. It's official. Series 2 of Mysterious Mysteries.
What an occasion.
It's been a long wait. But
And Mick, we lived up to our promise, didn't we? We said a spring
spring release.
And here we are.
Does May count? I think May counts as spring.
And I'm boiling. It's boiling outside.
Developing quite a sweat over
I've
there.
been sweating. I shall be a puddle by the end of this. You'll have to lick me up quick.
Well, I see things haven't changed around here then.
I need my brow mopping, I think.
Well, I'm surprised you've actually decided to sign up for another series of this.
Well, I'm going to keep it.
You seem to be like a damaged, broken man by the end of last year.
Yeah, don't remind me. I don't want to bring it up too much, but I did actually, to mark the occasion, because I brought a little present.
Oh, yes. What is it?
Just get it.
Oh, my.
Because you know how...
well, yes, as is tradition now.
It is traditional.
Matthew has brought, would you like to tell the audience?
Well, it's a small bottle of Prosecco,
Small.
listeners.
It's not that small.
Well, we can have a go at it. Right, I'm going to open it now.
You open it now.
It is traditional.
It is, and don't mess this up because it'll be recorded for posterity.
It'll be all over the microphone.
Yeah, here we go. Hooray! To Series 2.
I've splattered myself. Thanks, all right.
Not the first time. Well, I'm happy you didn't enjoy that. Just in case you're new to Mysterious Mysteries, we should briefly tell you how this all works. Basically, every week I've written a play in the style of the old school kind of murder mystery dramas you used to get on the wireless.
Are you having a glass, mate?
Of course.
Okay,
there we go.
Oh.
Thank you. Yeah, so I write one of these plays every week, and Matthew comes along to record it with me. And he has...
Dragged
by his hair.
Along. Yeah.
Tufts left on the carpet.
Dragged into this, I've been.
But haven't we had some great moments?
I'm not going to confess to that, mate. There have been some absolutely outrageous things that you've said.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because
you're bestaining my character each week.
I did want to say that I feel like last series things got a bit silly.
They got out of hand.
They got out of hand.
They did.
So I think we're going to have a change of tact this series. This is going to be a very serious affair.
Oh, go on.
Gone is the toilet humour.
Oh, yes.
Gone are the cheap innuendo. Now this is just going to be strongly worded, hard-hitting
philosophy.
Prose and philosophy. And philosophy.
Yeah,
all of the above.
Social commentary.
Exactly.
Oh.
So this will be something new, Matthew.
So, Mick, I do not know the, he says, legs wrapped over each other, Prosecco leaning on Lee. He says,
yes.
I don't know the
name,
the title of this episode. Because, listener, the punchline is, I have never seen any of this before.
Never?
I never see the scripts before.
He goes in blind, as he likes to say.
Blind. I am dragged into these scripts, and I have to do these outrageous.
Would you like the veil to be pulled?
I am slightly concerned, Nick, because I've looked at your little keyboard over there, and you've put all the sounds coming up, and one of them I was rather taken by, the rather simple sobriquet fart on one of them.
That would seem to suggest I wasn't entirely honest just now, saying that we're going to change the time. Anyway, let me pull the veil from before your eyes. Let you leave Plato's cave, if you will, and let me show you this week's script. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here it is.
Oh, here we go. Oh.
Would you like to read the title out for the listener?
Oh, so he's handed me a script, a rather mid-sized script.
Mid-sized.
The Murders at Number 10 by Mick.
Any thoughts? Any initial?
Well, I'm thinking number 10.
Yeah.
Are we thinking number 10 Downing Street?
I'm
not thinking it's Mrs. Miggins at number 10. I can't imagine she'd be particularly entertaining.
That's next week.
Depending on her social habits. However, number 10, I'm thinking, is there going to be a political element?
Well,
I'm thinking, are we going to have some commentary on our modern times?
Absolutely.
The recent political controversies, the
Indeed.
political
You know what I'm
aspects.
going to say, Matthew?
Yeah.
There's only one way to find out. Shall we get into it?
Are we cracking on?
Wait, let's crack on. Right. First episode of Series 2. Today's episode is called The Murders at Number 10.
Well, I see we've picked up where we left off. I'm just going to ignore that.
Right. And with that, we conclude the 87th annual Great Officers of State Curry House Challenge. My warmest congratulations to our victor, Deputy Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Dixon Cox.
Thank you, Prime Minister. What an honour this is. I must say it was a privilege to simply compete with such an esteemed group. I could never have imagined that I would emerge as the winner.
Indeed. The Baron, our Chancellor of the Exchequer, has taken the title 5 years running, and it were a brave man who bet against him repeating that feat on this occasion. Have you lost your appetite in your later years, Baron Balls?
Not at all, Prime Minister. Just saving a little room for dessert.
There's no shame in that, old boy. In fact, the shame lies with our Home Secretary. What happened, Herbert? You took to your madras like it were prepared by the Leader of the Opposition.
Oh, blimey. I don't hadn't believe it. Just not me best form today with the old Ruby Murray, I guess, Prime Minister.
It would seem not. Well, no need to cry over spilt coconut milk. There is always next year, after all. And speaking of next year, I could not help but be impressed with the performance of our debutante, Lady Gardner. Tell us.
I'm thinking a hanging basket. We're just
of course.
going to ignore this.
Yeah.
We just get through it, listener.
Tell us, Foreign Secretary, might you have one eye on next year's trophy?
One would not deign to presume, Prime Minister.
Well, I certainly look forward to finding out. In the meantime, let us toast this year's winner. To the Deputy Prime Minister.
To the Deputy PM. To the Deputy PM. He's got me on my toes. To the Deputy Prime Minister.
And so the cabinet rooms of 10 Downing Street...
So I was right, of
Yeah!
course, of course.
Well, what do you think? We just had the Home Secretary,
The
Foreign
first
Secretary,
mi-
Prime... You only just clicked now that it was made explicit.
Well, now
that
you've
was-
said it, but first mystery crack. Do you see the riddles
Absolutely.
continue?
We might as well just wrap things up
Yeah,
now.
I think I'll get home.
And so the cabinet rooms of 10 Downing Street resonated with the clinking and quaffing of our 5 champagne flutes. But those beverages were destined to be our final ounces of merriment before proceedings took a much darker turn. Thus, with the Dom Perignon finished, the Deputy PM retired to the lavatories, no doubt heavily burdened by his hefty intake of meat and spices.
Mick, you've mentioned Dom. Just out of interest, which vintage were you thinking of the time? Was it the 91?
That was a good year.
It was.
Yes.
Fine vintage.
Don't listen.
I'd say that year was a rather shy wine.
You're
that
try-
year. Wouldn't you agree? Mick?
You're trying to make me look uncultured.
Yeah, you
Why
see,
don't you
we've
tell
got
me a
him.
little bit more? What was it about the 91 vintage that made it so good?
It was a very shy wine, as it said that year, Mick, you see. And I'll let you choose the wines in the future.
Well,
I'll leave that on your door.
We might be getting what was his name?
We've got him, listeners. See
Phil.
how he stutters. We've got him. We've got him on the road.
I think Phil McCavity from our review episode he was a connoisseur when it came to fine drinks. He might have a thing or two to say about
He
that.
was a whiskey one, if I remember. We've got him, listener.
Right.
You can see.
Thus, with the Dom Perignon finished, the Deputy PM retired to the lavatories, no doubt heavily burdened by his hefty intake of meat and spices. He was soon followed by the Chancellor, who left the group to search the drawing room for desserts. It was in their absence that we heard the sound every world leader prays he never hears, a shrill, piercing sound that in this instance marked the beginning of what has come to be known as the murders at number 10.
Good grief! What is that?
What? Why, that's the warning alarm for a catastrophic event. We call it the Catastrophic event warning alarm.
Oh, my.
Hold on. Oh. Oh, making a right racket, isn't it?
Yourself on your toes there.
That will be my parliamentary aide calling to explain the situation. Put him on speaker, Lady Gardner.
Certainly, Prime Minister.
Prime Minister, are you and the cabinet all right in there?
Yes, we're quite all right. Tell me, boy, what is going on here?
We've received a credible threat of a chemical attack on number 10, Prime Minister. The Minister of Defence has had no choice but to initiate the Catastrophic Reactionary Alarm Protocol, or CRAP for short.
No.
Little joke, isn't it?
Crap? I'm not familiar with this protocol. What does a crap involve?
The CRAP initiates the immediate lockdown of 10 Downing Street from the outside world until the veracity of the threat can be verified, Prime Minister. The building itself is further locked down into 15 sections so as to prevent the spread of any toxins from one part of the building to another, with each individual room recycling its own air supply. Unfortunately, Prime Minister, this means that for now you and your colleagues are confined to the cabinet room, the drawing room and the lavatory in your section until the protocol is lifted.
My dear boy, I have the 5 most senior politicians in the country in this room. How are we to respond to this threat and reassure the public if we are confined to these quarters?
I understand, Prime Minister, but the MOD assures us that these precautions are necessary given the nature of the threat. They never deliver a crap lightly, sir.
Okay, Matthew, this is very mature from you. Very mature display.
I'm just going to have another sip, I think.
Maybe just have the whole bottle while you're down there.
Yeah.
Very well. Let's hope that this inconvenience will only be brief.
Indeed. Thank you for your understanding, sir. I shall be in touch again when the protocol is lifted.
Goodness me, what an unfortunate predicament we find ourselves in.
One wonders if such forced enclosure really be necessary, Prime Minister. Is this aide of yours of sound judgment?
He is, Lady Gardner. In fact, he is my most trusted of all my aides. And I have a lot of aides.
An endless supply, one would imagine. Very well, as it appears we may be here for some time, it would be prudent for me to visit the lavatory if yourself and the Home Secretary will pardon my absence.
Of course, my dear.
Thank you, Prime Minister.
Well, Herbert. Given the chain of command, had you decided to give this year's Curry House Challenge a miss and not been stuck in here with us, you would be running the country right now.
Probably for the best, Prime Minister. Not one for the limelight me. Sounds a bit like Maria Carey. Nah, just like to stick to me as Home Secretary. Gosh, you got me on my toes here.
You're going to have to start this.
Okay,
You've butchered this paragraph.
Trying to
Start
read
again.
it.
Probably for the best.
Probably for the best. I'm trying to think of Mary Poppins. Who's the Cockney
Oh, it's
in
Dick
that?
Van Dyke, isn't it?
Van Dyke.
Yeah.
But he has the world's most awful Cockney in that, doesn't he? But probably for the best, Prime Minister. Not one for the limelight me. Sounds a bit like Maria Carey.
No, see, you did it again.
It's hard.
Sounds a bit Mariah Carey. It's rhyming slang. Mariah Carey, scary.
I don't know this patois, Mick.
Well,
I'm going to have to learn. I need a dictionary.
It's too early in the series for you to start, throwing the toys out your pram. This is the role you've been given.
Oh, dear.
Come on. Sounds a bit...
Probably for the best, Prime Minister. Not one for the limelight me. Sounds a bit like Mariah Carey.
You did it again. Where's the word like coming from?
Sounds a bit Mariah Carey. Nah, just like to stick to my work as Home Secretary. Like right boring geezer.
Speaking of which, had there been any indication of an attack in recent weeks? I don't recall the threat level being raised at all.
Nah, mate, nothing. Ken Dodd been on the radar. Was just on the dog and bone with the Americans and all. No one seen or heard nothing.
How strange. We usually collect at least some fragments of intelligence before a major... Wait, my God, what was that?
Good, Lee Van Cleef. That was Lady Gardner.
The home Matthew looks very concerned with this accent. You better get used to it because he's going to be a pretty major player.
I'm sweating a bit with the Cockney, I have to say.
The Home Secretary and I ran from the cabinet room to the lavatory, a sprint so familiar after a Curry House challenge, but on this occasion under very different circumstances. Upon arrival, we found Lady Gardner, trembling and white as a sheet, unable to muster a single word from her quivering lips. And as we glanced past her and into the lavatory, we understood why. For there on the toilet, trousers at the ankles and erotic magazine in hand, sat Deputy Prime Minister Dixon Cox, dead.
He's brown bread.
Would seem so, Herbert. How could this happen? The man was a picture of health and at the peak of his form. He just won the challenge, for Christ's sake. Lady Gardiner, did you see anything? Anything at all that could explain this?
I found him just as he sits now, Prime Minister.
But he doesn't have a scratch on him. And if he'd come to a cardiac arrest or some similar life-threatening event, then surely he wouldn't have just sat there. He'd have at least managed to open the door.
It's a bit Merlin's beard.
Very weird indeed, Herbert.
Could we move the body elsewhere, Prime Minister? It is not decorous for a man of distinction to rest in search and in such.
Oh, God, I
I've
just
got a typo up in here. This is the quality I get given.
In search and undignified.
I'm going to be making a complaint.
Oh, dear.
They even have the squiggly blue lines when it's grammatically wrong.
Yeah.
It is not decorous for a man of distinction to rest in such an undignified manner.
Of course. Herbert, help me carry the old boy to the drawing room. We'll put him in the refuse chute.
Lord love a duck. Good thinking, Prime Minister.
And so the Home Secretary and I carried the lifeless body of the Deputy Prime Minister to the drawing room.
I'm very disappointed about this script, actually.
What?
Because
What?
it's had that little error in it.
Yeah.
And also, these are prestigious posts of our national government.
These are what was
And they're
what was
being
their title?
disdained.
The Great Offices of State.
Lying in toilets, perished upon toilets.
Erotic magazine in hand.
Dear.
Well, we've had enough scandals over the year from
I should be
members of
thinking
Parliament.
about this a little bit. Thank you.
This is probably quite mild compared to the reality of
Well,
lives
I
at
don't
the
know.
Palace of Westminster.
See, the truth is more unbelievable than the fallacy.
Exactly.
And each man kills the things he loves.
Oh, would you like to go into more detail?
Let's move on.
Okay. We won't go into your private life. And so the Home Secretary and I carried the lifeless body of the Deputy Prime Minister to the drawing room as Lady Gardiner went into the lavatory to compose herself. As we entered the room, the Chancellor, Baron Balls, did not so much as glance in our direction, so engrossed was he in his dessert of banoffee pie and a selection of sorbets. It was only as we let the Deputy...
Good man.
Well said. It was only as we let the Deputy PM's body tumble into the refuse chute that he looked up and addressed us on these most morbid developments.
What on earth was that? What are you two doing there?
It is with regret, Chancellor, that I must inform you of the passing of our dear Deputy Prime Minister.
Dixon? He's perished?
I'm afraid so.
I see. Yes, that is thoroughly regrettable. I suppose that his body then, that you were dropping, that his...
There we go. I see your reading comprehension skills haven't improved over the break.
I suppose that was his body then that you were dropping into the refuse chute. Very good. A prudent course of action, Prime Minister.
Indeed. Given the circumstances, we felt...
Would you, either of you, object to my finishing his madras?
Of course not, Baron. Feel free.
Lord above, could murder a bit of the Bill Murray and a tiddlywink, I'll go off with you, me old China.
But very well, you both go on ahead. I'll make a call to my aide in the meantime to inform him of these morbid developments.
Yes, Prime Minister. Very good. And do not hesitate to join us should you fancy a bit of garlic naan, sir. Come now, Herbert Smells. If we hurry, the madras may still be warm. Tickle my balls and call me a lady.
What does it even mean, Mick? Why have we put that in? It doesn't mean anything. Call him a lady. Goodness me.
Right, now, where is that, where is that telephone? I swear it was here some... Oh, no. Dearie me. Yeah, yes, I remember it sitting by the banister. Oh my, that one may have followed through a little. Maybe prudent to... there it is. Excellent. Now, let's hope he answers.
Prime Minister?
I need to be quick here, boy. I can't afford to rouse any suspicion. Tell me, is there any chance that there may already be a chemical contamination in our section of the building?
No, Prime Minister. Minister, none at all. The local area has been scanned with science equipment up to a radius of half a mile. If this threat of a chemical attack is legitimate, then the aggressors have not yet struck. If I may, sir, why do you ask?
Because the Deputy PM is dead, my boy, and I have my suspicions that his death was not a natural one.
Dead? My word, but Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister was alive and well when the lockdown was initiated. If you suspect he was murdered, then...
Yes, my boy. Then the murderer must be one of my esteemed colleagues locked in here with me.
Quite the mystery.
Quite the
Mick is
mystery.
looking over at me with a pensive face.
Absolutely.
He's looking smug with his writing, his authorship.
Should we have a little mid-play discussion now?
Well, I think I'm just going to top my glass up.
You
if I
top your
may.
glass up, but as
Would you like
okay,
any?
So no, I actually barely touched mine. So engrossed have I been
In your own writing.
In my own
you
writing.
hear this, listener.
So, what we have here is a classic locked room mystery, Matthew. There is a murderer amongst them. I'd be eager to hear your early
Eager.
musings of who it may be.
I mean, I genuinely have no idea, because last time I think I got it wrong in one of the previous episodes.
You did.
Why don't... by total guess,
Yeah.
by accident, as it were, I would say the Cockney, but I have no
Okay.
reasoning for that.
Is that because you're a bit of a snob, Matthew?
No! It's because I was hoping I didn't have to do the accent anymore. You'd get caught and then...
And then that's it.
Carted off and that'd be the end.
Well, that's certainly an interesting theory. I think we should go on and see. Maybe something will change your mind, or maybe it'll only be confirmed.
Okay, so we're going on. So what's the next? Oh, it's you.
Here we
It's
go.
you next. It's you.
With my suspicions confirmed, I placed the telephone back on the receiver and gave consideration to what few options availed me in this grisly affair. I could not afford to put my trust in either Baron Balls or the good Lady Gardner, not on account of any well-founded suspicion of them, but purely based on their absence from the cabinet room at the time of the murder. Yet I did not find myself inclined to place my faith in the Home Secretary either. Despite regaling me with his Cockney charm whilst the Deputy PM met his fate elsewhere, there was something about his lackluster performance in the Curry House Challenge that did not sit well with me and roused a sense of mistrust.
Ah, you see, I'm not the only one, you see.
In light of this, it was clear the best course of action would be for us to convene as a group and let not one individual out of our sights. If we knew nothing else about this murderer, it was that he acts covertly and would surely not strike if all eyes were there to witness him. With this reasoning in mind, I made my way to the lavatory to find Lady Gardner and escort her back to the cabinet room where the others would be feasting on the leftover curries. Once there, I knocked on the door. No response. I knocked again with a sense of urgency. Again, no response. With trepidation, I reached out a hand to the doorknob, slowly turning it to release the latch, and as I let the door's own weight slowly creak itself open, it revealed a ghastly sight, for there sat Lady Gardner.
How rude. It's quite uncalled for.
And even ghastlier,
She can't be that bad.
even ghastlier, she too had perished.
What on earth
Oh,
are
no,
you...
hold on.
Oh,
It's the door. Okay, hold on.
what on earth are you howling about, Prime Minister? We're trying to find bits of poppadom under the tablecloth in here.
I'm sorry to disturb you, Chancellor, but my exclamation was warranted.
You sounded like the trouble in strife, Prime Minister.
Blimey, it stinks out here. All right, Dame Judy Dench.
What's going on, Governor?
I'm afraid, gentlemen, we have incurred another casualty. For our beloved Foreign Secretary, Lady Gardner, has now also passed away in the lavatory.
Would anyone object to my finishing her masala?
There will come a time for that, Baron, but that time is not the present. We have an increasingly troubling situation unfurling within these walls, and what once could be labelled an unfortunate but innocent loss of life is now looking like something more sinister and preordained.
What are you saying here, boy? Are you honestly suggesting that...
Yes, Baron Balls, I am proposing that our dear friends Dixon Cox and Lady Gardner were murdered. So, are you enjoying these names we have in this play, Matthew?
I most certainly am not. Thank you.
What's wrong with
I've been quietly ignoring them. Although Lady Gardner, I couldn't. I had to address that front on.
Well, yes, because she's clearly a keen florist.
Well,
what about the Right Honourable Dixon Cox?
Well, I'm not engaging. I'm not engaging, listener, am I? We can't be engaging. We don't fuel this.
What about and then Baron Balls?
I don't know what it means.
Oh, okay. Well, no, it's just his surname with his title.
No.
No. Anyway.
Preposterous.
Is it? Both individuals died without any bodily trauma, Baron, and both displayed no signs of panic or concern. Now, one such occurrence could be dismissed as a freak occurrence, but two in quick succession, you must concede that it is highly suspicious.
This is absurd.
Really? And what of the threat of a chemical attack? The very reason we're locked in here. Is that merely coincidental and also no cause for alarm?
Now listen here, boy. I've had a light bulb lodged up my anus.
What? What? Are you saying I was thinking is... Oh, Leah, I apologise for that, listener. It got me as well.
You said it with such gusto.
Well, I was trying to get through the words.
For 17 years. Now that's a cause for alarm. The slightest wrong move and it will shatter. Yet it is a burden I have carried with dignity and aplomb, an approach I suggest you take during this unfortunate but frankly unremarkable predicament. Now, if you could be so kind as to remove Lady Carmichael's body from the lavatory.
What have I done there?
I think he means Gardner.
Lady Carmichael was a favourite from a previous episode.
Also, that's quite an extraordinary situation with the light.
The light bulb.
You've got my mind wandering.
I feel
now.
like we're going to need to hear Baron Balls' backstory to explain that little incident.
I've got a terrible mental image.
Can you imagine?
I'm sitting here on the end of...
Can you imagine going to the hospital and getting the x-ray?
I'm sitting...
And the doctor puts it up.
I'm sitting here on the edge of my stool myself.
Radiation would probably light the bulb up.
With great fragility, with that in mind.
Now, if you could be so kind as to remove Lady Gardner's body from the lavatory, I should be grateful. It is time for me to relieve myself of the spoils of our curry house competition.
No, Baron, don't you see? None of us can go in there. I've been touching cloth for an hour now, but don't dare go to that room.
Unacceptable.
For each one among us who has done has perished.
Spare me your superstition, Prime Minister, and remove her body.
I refuse. You mustn't go in there, Baron.
Blimey, enough said. I'll help you, Baron. You take the noddy alders, I'll take the Scotch eggs, and mind the Bristols, you cheeky hoon. There you go, on your bite, Baron.
Baron Balls, I implore you not to go in there.
No idea what just happened. Absolutely not.
Do you want me
I just
to translate?
see the word grunting, so I do some grunting. That's all.
Okay, you take the noddy holders. That's you take the shoulders. Oh. This is Cockney rhyming slang, by the way, for the uninitiated.
I asked the team for a dictionary at the beginning, didn't I?
You did. You didn't get it.
I didn't get one.
I'll take the Scotch eggs, the legs, and mind the Bristols. Bristols are our Bristol cities. I'll leave that one for you to conclude yourself.
What?
Your cheeky hoon. I don't actually remember what hoon is, but I have it on good authority that is an authentic Cockney turn of phrase.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, we'll take your word.
Baron Balls, I implore you not to go in there. You shan't come out alive.
If you're so concerned, my boy, then why don't you and Herbert stand out and watch outside the door? As you can see, there is no one else in this lavatory. Should there be some malevolent assailant here wishing ill will towards me, then you shall see him out in the corridor before anyone else does.
But Baron, I don't believe that's how...
No need to Fred McCurry, Prime Minister. The Baron will be right as rain, he will.
I certainly hope so, Herbert.
See? Just going about his business.
No, yes, but perhaps you're right.
Of course I am, Governor.
Maybe I did go a little overboard there. Let my emotions get the better of me. It's probably a perfectly reasonable explanation.
That's Isle of Wight. Perfectly reasonable, Prime Minister.
Perhaps I should go in after him. I'm turtling as we speak. But it's been quite the struggle to hold... Baron? But Baron? What? Why have you stopped? You ate much more than that, Baron. But Baron, say something, Baron. Wrong button. There. Okay. But the Baron did not respond. I looked at Herbert and noted his nonchalant optimism had been replaced with a steely visage, the gravity of the Baron's silence stirring him from his sanguine slumber. I broke the Home Secretary's gaze and reached for the door handle, a now familiar and foreboding ritual, and opened it to reveal the Baron, a titan of British politics and celebrated exotic dancer, had perished.
Holy Tom tit!
Why didn't he listen?
We was here to hold Harry Lyme, Prime Minister. Ain't nothing could have got him in there.
I don't believe we are dealing with a crude murderer here, Herbert. His methods are much more sophisticated, much more nuanced than you give him. The cabinet phone! Thank heavens! That must be my aid. If good fortune is looking upon us, then perhaps this wretched quarantine we find ourselves in has been lifted. Quickly, Herbert, we must find out. And so the Home Secretary and I ran to the cabinet room with a renewed hope that our ordeal may soon come to an end. But upon answering the telephone, it was not my aide who greeted me. No, on the other end of the line was one of the last individuals I expected to hear from. But as it would transpire, he was precisely the individual I needed to hear from.
Well, I'm just reading the script. I've put my Prosecco down.
Time for a blast from the past.
And it says President Willie Stroker, who was in last season.
He was in the Mars Poopy.
The Mars Poop, episode 3.
Yeah, the shit on Mars.
No, episode 2. Episode 2. I can't even remember correctly.
No.
I'm trying to think of my accent.
You can do it.
American.
It was just pretty generic, really. Yeah,
pretty generic. It was nuanced. Thank you very much. There was a refinement there.
It was about as nuanced as this Cockney accent.
Thank you very much.
You were saying Dick Van Dyke had the most famously awful Cockney accent. I think you're giving a run for the money here.
Well, Willie Stroker had a perfectly nuanced Harvard twang to his.
To be fair, Willie Stroker is quite hard.
He had it. No,
to
Harvard.
imitate.
Harvard. He had a refined.
That one brushed over Matthew's head, listener.
He had a fine East Coast element to it, right?
Okay, you go.
Prime Minister, this is President Willie Stroker of the United States of America.
President Stroker? What on... Sorry, do forgive me, President. I'm just a little surprised to hear your voice. I was expecting my parliamentary aide to be on the line.
Not to worry, Prime Minister. I just wanted to let you know that we're all rooting for you folks back here in the White House. If y'all need any assistance in dealing with this cowardly threat of a chemical attack, please don't hesitate to ask.
Your offer is much appreciated, President Stroker. We were just finishing our Great Officers of State Curry House Challenge when the threat was relayed to...
We ourselves just had our Chief of Staff's challenge. The Situation Room became so pungent, we had to undergo a level 4 evacuation.
An evacuation?
You betcha. Secretary Eugene Brownstains is in decontamination as we speak.
My God, that's it!
What's that, Prime Minister?
Forgive me, Willie. I need to go. We shall speak soon, and thank you.
Thank you for,
Herbert, I've got it. I've made sense of it all.
What's that, geezer? I've had enough banana armour for one day.
I was wrong all along. There is no murderer, Herbert. There isn't.
Of course there isn't, Prime Minister. It's a load of old flowers and frolics. Now, why don't you go on round the Jack Horner and go relieve yourself, have a nice big brace and bit?
But that's just...
That can't be right. Is that real?
I think so.
You made these up. You Googled it.
Why? What do you think a brace and bit is?
Well, I was thinking...
maybe a sit down?
Yeah, sit down.
A sit down, yeah. No, I believe that's all fair. Well, what were you thinking?
A brace and bit and a sit. Yeah,
well said.
A cup of tea.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's apples and pears.
The trouble and strife.
Yeah. Those are the two I know.
But that's just it, Herbert. That is what cost our dear colleagues their lives. When the crap protocol was initiated, my aide told me that each room would recirculate its own air supply to prevent a foreign contamination. But not one of us considered the ramifications of this measure for a group who had just partaken in a curry house challenge.
You're what?
Think about it, Herbert. One goes into a small and sealed lavatory, releases the countless cubic feet of toxic gases that only a curry house challenge can generate. And the recycling of the air means not 1 ounce of it escapes. It simply builds and builds until it consumes the entire room, and the poor, unsuspecting occupant amongst it all is gassed and suffocated fatally before they even realize something is awry.
Well, I don't know, Bear.
I assure you, Herbert, that's it. As long as we don't use the lavatory and instead contain our waste, we shall make it out of this horrendous situation alive.
Well then, Prime Minister, if you won't go down the toilet, then I guess we're going to have to do this the hard way.
Excuse me?
You're not Pete Tong, Prime Minister. That is how our colleagues pop their clogs, but you is most definitely wrong to say they was not murdered.
Well, I don't understand.
Of course you don't. You people are thick as planks.
What is this? Explain yourself,
Prime
Herbert.
Minister, you really don't have a Scooby-Doo. Well, let me tell it for you. It was little old me that made the threat of a chemical attack, made it sure it was delivered right when we was finishing up our curry house challenge, I did. See, I knew all about the crap protocol, so I knew that each of you James Blunts would suffocate and die when you used the cat and dog. It was just a matter of waiting for you each to fall for it, and then I'd be the only one left to become Prime Minister.
You scheming swine! So that's why you ate so little during the challenge. You didn't want to find yourself needing to use that
Very
toilet.
good, Prime Minister. Not as daft as you look.
But I don't understand. Why would you do this? Why would an honest Cockney lad commit such treachery?
Because, Prime Minister, your beloved Herbert Smells is not really a Cockney at all. I am, in fact, German. Mick, I've been vindicated on so many different levels. Firstly, no wonder he had a terrible Cockney accent.
Because he's a German, yeah.
And secondly, I knew he was the baddie.
You were right. He was up to no good.
Oh, I
You've
feel
actually
relieved.
cracked it.
I mean, I don't know what accolade this is, because maybe it just means that I'm getting used to these horrendous, outrageous scripts, and I do object to some of the diction used.
Such as what?
Well, we're not going into details. but
I think we should go into great detail.
there was a James Blunt reference there, and I'm not entirely sure what that was referring to.
James, well, that would be rhyming slang for
A punt?
a punt. Yes,
Yeah, a punt.
perhaps a
A punt down the river?
Exactly.
It's
Probably
nonsense.
like some Oxonian must have come up with that one.
In any case.
Anyway, this is the chilling finale, Matthew. I hope you're ready to be chilled
I'm bracing myself.
to your core.
I shall be leaving soon.
It all made sense. There was always something a bit different about Herbert when compared to the rest of my colleagues, but I'd never been quite able to put my finger on it. So superlative was the imitation of a noble British politician that he had performed. But I was not given long to ponder this revelation, as the individual before me continued with his oration, only now in a most peculiar accent, as if German, but with hints of Peruvian. And as he spoke, he brandished a razor-sharp, 7-inch butcher's knife.
Ich bin ein Idiot, der nicht so talentiert ist wie mein hübscher Freund Mick. Ich spiele gern mit mir. Manchmal lüge ich im Garten meines Nachbarn und behaupte, ich sei eine Karotte.
That was really good. Do you speak German?
No.
Oh.
But I do know one phrase in German.
Oh, go
and
on.
I used it from my German oral exam.
Yeah. Oh, what kind of exam was
Well, it was
that?
beginner's German.
Yeah.
And it was, Ich würde sogar so weit gehen zu sagen, dass ich möchte ein Gesangslehrer sein. Which means,
nice.
yeah, it's a very complicated sounding
Yeah.
phrase. And the German fans will correct me on this.
Of
but
course, of which there are many.
Of which there are thousands.
Yes.
But I do think that it means, I would even go as far as to say that I'd like to be a singing teacher.
Oh,
And that's the only phrase I know, other than my Name is Matthew. That's all I know.
Right, well, it's probably a good thing because I'm going to leave it to our German fans
I translated
to enjoy that little
I
paragraph.
translated it word from word. Yeah.
Well, that little paragraph, our German-speaking listeners will be having a giggle to themselves, Matthew.
Right.
What are you saying? I don't speak German.
Of course you don't. You're British and uncultured.
Sound a bit French.
Oh, is that too French?
Yeah.
To put it simply, Prime Minister,
Oh, God. How do you do German?
German. Oh, don't look at me. German is like.
Ich würde, to put it simply,
Oh, no, that's
Prime
like
Minister, our people have been infiltrating every level of your government.
Oh, it's a bit French.
It's okay.
Oh,
just
damn.
go with it.
For many years, all with the intention of seizing control of your country and making one of our own its Prime Minister. But that will not be possible as long as you are still living, and I can only see one solution to this problem. I shall have to kill you myself with this knife.
You stay away from me. I'm warning you. Take one step towards me with that weapon and I shall unburden myself and shit all over the floor.
Mick, that is horrible. Why on earth would he do that?
You wouldn't dare.
Oh, yes, I would. You've seen me do it before.
When? When would he have done it before?
Well, as I said earlier, we don't know what happens behind the closed doors of Downing
goodness.
Street.
I'm having palpitations.
Oh, yes, I would. You've seen me do it before. And doing it here and now will ensure that even if you do kill me with that knife, it will only be a matter of time before you yourself suffocate in this room.
This is like the Skunk Man, old themes coming
and
back.
join me in death. The German said nothing, deep in thought. He had not anticipated this outcome, which would scupper his intention to walk out of the lockdown as Prime Minister. Such was the brilliance of my plan to shit my pants.
Oh. We don't need it spelling out, do we?
I think we do. It was over for him. He knew he had failed, but there are few more formidable threats in life than a man with nothing to lose. As we see with Matthew turning up here every week. And so in a final act of desperation, he ran towards me, weapon in hand and ejaculating loudly. What's wrong with that?
I need and
To ejaculate means to shout.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's quite what you
Please
meant.
take
but-
your dirty mind elsewhere, mate. Ejaculating loudly, and thus there followed a deadly tussle.
Prime Minister. Prime Minister.
I think that is the scene that sealed the BAFTA, Matthew, for this year. We got cruelly overlooked in the last BAFTAs.
Keeping a low profile
Yes.
on this from now on.
Right, go ahead.
I can't believe that I have to do this to earn my spaghetti hoops on toast. It's outrageous. Prime Minister, can you hear me?
What's happening?
You succumbed to the gases from your excrement, Prime Minister. But the crap protocol has been lifted, sir. The lockdown is over, and not a moment too soon, and any longer, and you would surely not have made it.
Herbert, but my boy, the Home Secretary, he's not who he says he is.
We
You must
know, Prime Minister. We saw and heard the whole thing on our monitors.
Then you must search for him. He is dangerous. He is planning.
Prime Minister, look to your left.
What? Where? What's that? Ah. And then it came back to me. Herbert, or rather the German, had made for me with the knife, and so I had shit myself just as I had
And it's also grammatically incorrect. It'd be shat, Mick. It's the past tense.
I don't believe there's an entry in the Oxford Grammatical Dictionary about the past participle of to shit.
But it's not. It's so I had as well.
Yeah,
So
the point
what's
I'm
that?
making is I don't think it's an
That's the-
official verb.
Had is the pluperfect, isn't it? So it would be I
had
had.
is plural, but yeah, indeed.
So it would be I had shat.
I had.
See, and this is what we have to put up
How
with.
do you know it would have been shat? Who
And
makes that
so
rule
I
up?
had shat myself.
Who makes that rule up?
Well, you write in, listeners, but you know I'm right. The grammatical things
Hey,
we have here, it's outrageous.
Dude, come on, we're wrapping things up here. Come on.
Abuse of the pluperfect.
Shit myself just as I had threatened. In the messy struggle that followed, we had grappled and clawed at each other until somehow I had managed to turn the knife on him and gutted him with it. He died before my eyes, but not before unleashing the contents of his own bowels through his sizable wound, submerging me in partially digested masala. He must have took solace with his dying breath in the thought that I would perish on account of the gases, and indeed I did lose consciousness. However, one must never underestimate a British man's tolerance of toxic curries.
I dispute that.
And on this occasion, it was that very tolerance, incubated and nurtured by years of competition, that had maintained my vital organs until the end of the lockdown, that had saved a great nation's prime minister, and indeed, that had ensured that the country's government would not be seized by a foreign force as a result of the murders at number 10. I am exhausted.
Well, I'm pleased that I'm throwing this down.
I've lost my fitness. I was.
I am bedrenched as we thought I would be.
I am very damp in
My shirt's ruined.
It is.
I'm going to have
You're benippled.
I'm going to have the gusset replaced.
You will
on my breeches.
So Matthew, the murders at number 10.
I was very disappointed.
I told you it would become more
themes were
highbrow,
the
didn't I?
No, it wasn't highbrow.
We had members of government. We had a foreign interference.
Oh, I think the themes are worse than last series.
What?
I do.
No, it
I
was.
do. It was more in your face, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. But wasn't it a good mystery? Well, can't have been that great, actually. You guessed it pretty much straight away.
I was vindicated.
You
then.
were vindicated.
But I didn't get the Germanic twist, the Teutonic twist.
That
did
was
I?
that was quite the twist.
Yeah.
But you don't seem enthralled particularly by that.
I'm sopping. I'm exhausted. I don't know why I do it.
I don't know why you're back here either. Oh, would you like to know next week's play's title then? With that, you seem like you need
Now
to
he
pick me up.
raises it, so I'm gonna get whacked again with the next one. Right,
Well,
go
okay.
on then. What's next?
The name of
I turn up.
If Matthew turns up, the name of next week's play is Berlin 84.
Berlin 84?
Yeah, you've overpoured. You're spilling all over the carpet.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm spilling on the electricals. I'm sorry. I should electrocute myself.
Matthew's foamed himself.
If I'm barbecued, listeners, you can write in. And what can you write in? Do mysteriousmysteries@outlook.com. But that is something that we'll go into later.
Yeah, I want to talk about Berlin 84. What are your thoughts? What's that going to dip into?
I'm trying to think. So that 89 was when the Berlin Wall came down.
I believe so, with David Hasselhoff singing, eulogizing.
Is that true?
That's true. He was there.
So 80.
I'm not making that up.
So Berlin was, I guess, split between communist Russia and the West,
The capitalist
coalition.
West.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I have no idea. So maybe it's going to be something to do with spies.
Oh, very good.
East-West
Very good.
spies.
Very good. I'm not going to go into any detail, but your finger is on your temple as always,
It
Matthew.
is. Well, my veins are bulging.
They-
And I'm just thinking, what could it be? Spies, or maybe east to west or west to east? I think we'd have east to
You're
west.
doing well, so I would go out on a high while you still can.
I'm thinking east to west spying.
East to west spy. Okay. Well, we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, if I make it.
If you make it. Well, yeah, Matthew, as you said, if our audience have it now, I guess they're exulting that we're back, that Series 2 is
How
here.
they should be thrilled.
How they shall be thrilled, and how we thrill. And they can thrill us by, how can, I don't know where I'm going
Speak for
with this.
yourself.
And I'm sure they'll want to get in touch, won't they, to tell us what they think. So,
I wouldn't hold your breath, mate.
well, probably not, but we should probably give them the rundown. Why didn't
Yeah.
you tell them the Twitter, Matthew?
So oh,
Oh, dear.
the Twitter Okay, I was very good for the review episode.
You were. You got everything right. So you can only go downhill here.
At Podcast Mystery.
Yes. I actually forgot it there. That is correct.
You have to think there.
Yeah. Facebook.
At Mysterious Mysteries Podcast.
Correct. Instagram
at Mysterious Mysteries Podcast.
Correct. And the email address
mysteriousmysteries@outlook.com. So you get in touch, listeners. You want to
get in touch. Although there are certain people who are barred, aren't they? As we discussed in the series one
Phil
review. Phil McCavity, not allowed. But Yerkin Bonk, he's off. He's on the block list as well.
I've had the admin team horsewhipped for those.
What about Richard Blower? Is he okay to?
I think he was the whiskey man, wasn't he?
No, Richard Blower was the guy who performs the test to detect signs of life.
Well, he's definitely gone. I think
he's blocked. Okay, he's blocked us. The rest of you, though, it's all good. Well. There we have it. That was episode 1. Do you want to say anything, Matthew? Any disclaimers before we go?
I just like to say I'm sorry. But if you do want to continue, tune in next week for Berlin
84.
Mysterious Mystery.